this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Frontify media library. As you can see, I'm within one of my brands right now. I've got my guidelines, projects, libraries tabs, and I'm going to start by jumping into my guidelines first. I've already built my style guide in here. I've got everything in there that I'm looking for. And in this case, I've also already prepared a media library, but I'm going to show you quickly what to do if you wanted to start from scratch. I'm going to click up here to add a document, and I'm going to make this document a media library. I can then give it a name, so I'll just call that a test media library. There we go. Default workflow template is fine. And then if I already have libraries set up, I can either make it based on one of those libraries, or in this case, obviously, if I wanted to start from scratch, I would say create a new one and just click the button. It'll take a few seconds, and now I have my library set up. I'll immediately be guided into the back end of it, and I could start populating it here. Gonna go into my libraries tab quickly. You can see, yeah, it's also here now. Or in case you prefer to start from back here with building a media library, obviously I could also click the new button here, say create a media library, and then I can link that to one of my guidelines. So I'm going to jump into the one I've already built to show you what I've done there. You can see I've already got a couple of collections set up in here, and I've got a little folder structure. I like to work in folders because, as you can see in a minute, it makes it quite easy to tag things. But obviously you can also just upload all of your images in here without creating folders. And then quite handy, we've got our filter options up here to filter through your assets based on tag status, who the uploader is. And this way you can then also find all the images that you're looking for very easily. Okay, so let's start by uploading a few more assets. And first of all, I'm going to create the folders. I'm going to keep up my folder structure. So I've got some nature picture. I'm going to call that mono brand nature pictures in the description so people know what it's about. And I don't really want a status to be applied, or I don't need a folder color. So I'm just going to create that. And then I'm going to jump in here and create two more folders. One of them I'm going to call it in the green. And the next one I'm going to call by the sea, because these will then actually be the tags that I'm going to assign to the images that are within these folders. Let's start by uploading these pictures. I'm going to just click on new, file upload by the sea. Already got the ones that I'm looking for, and just open all these assets, and they're going to start uploading, and I can look down here to see what the upload status is. In the meantime, let's fill the folder in the green, and just to show to you guys how this works, I'm going to drag and drop a couple of images in here in this case. Also, they'll start uploading. All good. So now let's go back to the overview, and I'm going to start assigning tags. Like I mentioned, I can do that on a folder level. So I'm going to go ahead and say here, for all of these images, they should have the tag nature done. And then within here, we've got the tag by the sea, create that. And one tag that will be in the green, and we create that as well. Done. And just to show it to you quickly, if I click in here, go onto one of my images, let's make sure by the sea and nature the tags have been applied. So perfect. Okay, and then one more thing that I want to do is create a new collection. So I'm going to choose a couple of images, got my bulk actions up here, and I want to add these to a collection called nature. That doesn't exist yet, so I'll create a new one. And then same thing for these images, select all of them. And now, as you can see, nature obviously already exists, so I'm just going to add them to this existing collection. And here we are, nature has been created. One last thing I want to do is toggle this button so that the collection will also be visible within the front end. Okay, and that's done. So then I'm going to do a few more settings that I want to set up back here. Go to my project settings. Maybe first of all, I want to set up what should happen to an asset once it expires. I'll show you after how to apply an expiration date to individual assets. You can also do that on a bulk level, of course. And either I can say, all right, a workflow status should be applied to images that expire. This means that I can then control they'll only be visible in the back end of the media library, but not in the front end. so sort of an archiving thing, or I can say, nope, they should be completely deleted depending on what the copyright status, for example, is on this image. It might need to be deleted completely. So then it's fully gone and not even available in the backend anymore. In my case, I'm going to say workflow status and take this status expired. So that's done. A few more settings. What I want is toggle this button right here to show a watermark. This means that all protected assets will have a watermark shown, meaning you can't download them by right-clicking or taking a screenshot without having the watermark in the way. I could also protect all assets by default so that they can't be downloaded without a download request that needs to be approved first. I don't really want that for all assets, so I'm going to not do that. And then down here, I can set up different download sizes for my images. So they'll automatically be resized to these sizes that I set up. Obviously, images will only be downsized, not upsized. So to ensure quality, so I can go ahead and maybe create one that I called small. So that's going to be 600 pixels wide. And a second one, I'm just going to call that large. And let's make that 1960 and save that. Just a very quick example of two. Obviously, you can set up as many download sizes as you wish. All right, and then the last setting that I'm going to jump into right now is the metadata. As you can see, I can set up custom metadata fields. I've already done that for one called market, and I'm just going to create one more that I'm going to call campaigns. I can select, should that be a text field, or in my case, I'm going to say it's a select field, meaning I'll have a drop-down menu to select from afterwards. And maybe we have campaigns for the different times of the year. So I'm going to call them fall, winter, spring, and summer. Separate them all with a comma, press enter, and there they are. Perfect. Let's save this. And then the last thing, I want to enable auto tagging, quite a nice feature. So I can have automated tags on all of my images. There's 7 right now that don't have any generated tags. So I'm going to say, yeah, generate them, and that can just run in the background while I keep doing some work. So let's jump into this folder so we can do a few more things on individual assets and show you a couple more of the bulk actions. So first of all, I'm going to select all of the images in here, and we've already seen collections and tags. Maybe I want to start by assigning some metadata. You can see there's multiple values on certain fields already, also with the market here. And actually, I'm just going to select these and say, okay, I want to assign custom metadata to these. These are actually all from our fall campaign, so I'm going to assign that. And then also maybe I want to assign a status to them. So I'm going to say, yeah, these are actually all approved. The fall campaign has been approved. And you can see the colorful bubbles will pop up to indicate the status. And then I'm going to select 4 more. And in this case, these all need review because let's say these are from our summer campaign and that one's not fully ready yet. Okay, and that's done. So then I'm going to jump into a couple of individual assets and go on the metadata field here. First thing you can see here, I've toggled download and request only. I can turn that on or off. So now that it's turned on, this image can actually only be downloaded after requesting download, and then the request has to be approved. Show you suggested tags quickly. This is what I enabled before. You can see there's a bunch of them. If I don't really like one of them, vulnerability, not really very positive sounding, I don't want that tag in there, I can just remove it. Then you can see the metadata. I can set up different things in here. We see the market and the campaigns, the custom metadata that I've set up, and also asset relations. So you can see this image is related to different other assets, and currently it's not being used in any of the guidelines. Okay, gonna go ahead and jump over to the next image. Same thing for the relations here. And as you can see, I've set up a copyright notice for this image. So this image is not intended for usage outside of Europe. Save that, that's good. I want this copyright notice to be shown, so as soon as someone wants to download it, it'll pop up. And one last thing on this image, you can see I've actually added an expiration date. So I can just click in here, choose from the calendar. So this should expire at the end of May. So then it'll get the status expired as I've set up before. All right. So I've got pretty much everything set up in my backend that I want to set up for now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into front end. Just click here and say, yeah, take me to my media library. And here I am. So here I'm also going to start with setting up a couple of things first. Maybe the first thing I want to set up is my filter options. As you can see, I've already added a few here. So within the categories, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, I want to add one new. I've obviously added nature pictures. So based on the tag nature, I'm going to create this new category, save that. And then I'm going to add a new facet that is tag based. And this is going to be called nature sub categories. So this is what I've set up with in the green. Also based on the tag, save that. And the second one was called by the C. I'm going to set that up as well. There we go, save this and add it. As you can see now here, I've got a couple of categories that actually have conditions on them. This is that people subcategories will obviously only show up once I've actually selected people. And I'm going to do the same thing for nature. I'm going to go to this visibility tab and add a condition. So only if within categories nature has been selected, this will pop up, save, and done. So now you can see this has a condition on it. And one more thing that I want to add is based on metadata, call that campaigns. So this will be based on my campaign metadata field. I can just add it, and all the different campaigns from the drop-down menu that I've set up will be in here. And maybe I'm going to go ahead and move this. Oops. Let's see. There we go. Now it worked. So that it shows up here. And then I can also jump into my search settings right here. You can see I could set up my search field that I have at the top right here. Maybe 650 pixels is a bit wide. I only want it to be 400 pixels wide. I could set up different things as well. Save this. Then my filters, as you see now, right now, I have this drop-down menu. I actually prefer pills. This is what they look like. It looks a lot nicer to me. And content, just to show quickly, before I obviously applied some statuses to different things. So let's say I'm actually going to remove everything except for the approved status. And you can see down here immediately only the pictures that are approved will be visible. For needs review, I have 4 more assets that have that status, so they will show up as well. But to be honest, I actually don't really want those, but I do want the ones that don't have a status at all. Those are good to go. Okay, so that's good for the search settings. And then a couple more options in terms of layout. Maybe go into the assets quickly. You can see they're rather small with a lot of spacing in between them right now. I don't really like that. So I'm going to halve the spacing in between them, set that to 5. But the asset should be a little bigger, maybe 350 instead of 250. Okay, that's set up. I like that a lot better. You can already see it in the background here. And then let's go to the collection setting. You can see right now they're rather small, and we have the slider option, so I can scroll through them. So I see different collections at a different time. So also if I have a lot of collections, I'll only see part of them. They won't take up more space. Or in this case, I actually prefer the gallery view so that I can see all of them right away. Also here, I want them to be displayed a bit bigger. Then I could choose between this tiled view where I see several of the images that are in there. I actually think that's quite nice, so I can see what I have in there. I also would like an image count to be displayed, so I see how many pictures are in there, but I don't really want a border. Okay, that's set up as well. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it looks really nice. Here, the search field is now almost aligned with the pills. Perfect. So then let me show you how that works in terms of search functionality. I'm going to filter down maybe by people quickly. And then within people, I only want group images. and you can see I have 4 images available here out of the 8 that would technically be in the folder, because the others I have filtered by the status. And then also within this, if I wanted to see, okay, I actually only want images for Europe, filter down even more. Okay, so move a couple of these. Same thing if I wanted to do the search functionality up here. Let's say I want to actually look for images with people. Got my collection called people that pops up, and then different images with people in it. Okay. All right, let's go back to the standard overview, and we'll actually take our group example again here to show you a couple of the things. So if I click on one of the images, you can see the preview here. You see this is the image where we've set up that download needs to be requested, so I can't download, I have to put in a request that has to be approved. The watermark that we've set up that should be shown, but obviously I can still see all the different metadata, and also here I can see the different relations of images. So I could also go to one of those, or in this case, let me just click through. Now here is an image that we can download. So this, I could just click on download size, and this is where we have set up the copyright notice. So before I download the image, I will see this copyright notice. I have to accept it if I want to download. If I don't accept it, I can't download. And here, this would then be an image that I can just download without a problem. Just click the download size that I wish, and the download will start immediately. And the last thing, obviously here, is what we have set up with the expiration date. You can see when the asset expires, and after that, because of the statuses that we've set up before, it'll no longer be visible here. All right, this is pretty much it. I hope you'll have fun building your own media library and that you enjoy Frontify. Have a great day.